Good evening. I am your host, Jack Remington, the Jack Remington Political Analyst Channel. Today's video, we're closing out the month of March 2024 with our Jackass of the Month. Candidate for this month of March 2024 is Leticia James. She is the supposedly Attorney General for the state of New York. She's filing some kind of crime against Donald Trump, the former president, and he's a leading contender in the Republican Party right now. He's got the nomination. So it looks like a collision course between Donald Trump and Joe Biden if they don't lock Donald Trump up or he'd shoot him or whatever. Donald Trump, he must have done something to really tick these people off. So let's get into the story here, why this is a shoo-in for Jackass of the Month for March 2024. Just to put a brief background about this Leticia James, she ran on the platform of, I'm going to get Donald Trump. Now, when she was running for this platform of, I'm going to prosecute somebody maliciously, just to prosecute someone, to abuse the law the way it's supposed to be designed, she didn't say anything about what crimes Trump did at the time. So she got elected in 2018, took office 2019, and here she is. She's got this big lawsuit against Donald Trump with so many felonies against him because he overvalued his property and ripped off the banks, but the banks say they didn't. The bank testified on Trump's behalf, said he got the loan. We assess his properties ourselves, as every bank does, for every transaction in the history of the world. And we felt that it was worth this. He agreed to a loan for this. He paid it back, and we'd like to do business with him again. So that part kind of backfired on Leticia James' face. But I want to play a couple of things here. I want to get some more evidence out here. She got booed when she was giving some kind of firefighters promotion thing here in New York City at some church. And then she was very angry, and then she threatened to hunt them down and prosecute them for booing her at this event. So I'm going to play clips of the videos and I'll have a final commentary at the end. Enjoy.
Sandra, good morning. Well, the FDNY is urging firefighters to turn themselves in, insisting they are, quote, not hunting anyone down, but they are looking into those who they say clearly broke department regulations when they booed AG Leticia James and started chanting former President Donald Trump's name at a promotion ceremony last week at a Brooklyn church. Yesterday, FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanaugh went back to that church and apologized.
I am sorry about the way that we acted. We disappointed our friends who are here, our family who is here, and we disappointed this church that has given us so much over the years.
The FDNY tells Fox about its investigation into its members, quote, it has nothing to do with politics. It's about professionalism at an official event held in a house of worship. While some argue the firefighters were within their First Amendment rights, FDNY bosses are apparently furious over what they deemed as unacceptable behavior by FDNY members Thursday.
First, simmer down. Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition. And
the Post reports a memo handed out at firehouses Sunday warns, when you're not on duty, feel however you want about politicians. Vote, protest, that's your right, but don't do it on the job's time. On Saturday, Trump went after AG James, who won a $454 million civil fraud case against him.
The fascist and racist Attorney General of New York State, Leticia James, I call her Peekaboo James, who, by the way, is now being booed and heckled all over New York because they know it's a scam.
The FDNY union says it will provide representation to any member who is under investigation. Sandra?
Brian Yanis on that story for us. Thank you, Brian.
The last I heard, you were allowed to boo and protest. But now they're trying to say, well, they can't do it while they're on the job. I understand that most of them were not on the job. A lot of them came on their day off to do this. I don't see how they could prosecute them, but I guess who knows? I mean, we're no longer a free country. This is out of the Marxist playbook. This is what they do in Russia and China, North Korea, Iran, Iraq, Beirut, Kuwait, North Yemen, South Yemen, United Arab Emirates. You name the country in the Middle East and Asia, they do it. England locked up more people than Russia did for inflammatory posts against their royalty and against their leaders of the country. England, the country of England.
Called me venomous.
we will fight back to your attempt to bring Trumpism to New York City.
He's called me disgraceful.
Of the fact that they stole the Supreme Court seat. An illegitimate president and an illegitimate member of the United States Supreme
He's called me radical.
Listen, we know he's crazy. We know he doesn't have a sound mind. We know he's out of control. We know he's losing it. We know his days are numbered and we will come together.
He's called me a racist.
We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale. Too male, too pale, and too stale.
Thank you.
By the way, notice this, Patrick. There's an investigation for people that were booing her, and guess what's going to happen to them? They're going to investigate. They'll probably get fired. And if it's up to this, I hate her so much. They'll go to jail, right? Meanwhile, those illegal Venezuelans that beat the shit out of the New York City cops, they were arrested, released, and they're not they're not going after them at all. They're in a migrant camp back in New York, doing God knows what. It's like, what are we even talking about? We all know what she's doing. We all know who she's working for. We all know her agenda is to get rid of Trump. And just because a couple of cops that are pro-Trump, because guess what? The working man is for Trump. She's going to go after them, like hunt them down. She's a disgusting human being.
Adam. Well, it's not a couple people. It sounded like they're going to have to go hunt down hundreds of firefighters.
Yeah,
okay,
no
not
shit.
cops, firefighters. So it wasn't a couple different dispersing voices, couple of claps. It sounded like a resounding boo for her and a loud vocal Trump, Trump, Trump from the audience. So I don't see how you go after dozens, if not hundreds of firefighters, because at the end of the day, a firefighter's job is to make sure the city don't burn down.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything is going to happen from this. I think it's all rhetoric.
But
You're
what
not
happens
going after anybody.
But if she finds out, let's say she gets 20 names, what is she doing?
Nothing.
No, but you know what I mean? She's looking for them to investigate.
What are you going to say?
Fire them. She's like, this is insubordination.
That would be ridiculous and absurd, and unfortunately, maybe par for the course for this woman.
Well, what about New York in itself? It wouldn't surprise me.
First of all, this is Leticia James on message, doing what she does. There is nothing to be surprised about here. There is everything to be outraged about the way she does it. Point one. Point two is right now, the New York Police Department and the New York Fire Department are having trouble recruiting people. So I don't see how you take people exercising freedom of choice who boo and make a point known when they're having trouble recruiting people. And I think what happened is she got pissed off, walked off stage, and goes to the head of the fire department, says, I don't like this crap. I don't like that they booed me here. Why didn't you prepare this? This is wrong. We're just trying to put the first African-American female chaplain, there. And since it's a chaplain, they held it in a house of worship because she's going to be ordained. What the hell, man? Why didn't you prep these people up? Go find out who booed and knock some heads. I think it's that simple.
Yeah.
Because that's her playbook. That doesn't surprise me. It outrages me, but it doesn't surprise me.
And remember one thing about firefighters. Everybody loves firefighters. They're not polarizing like the police. Now, we saw the debacle that was defund the police and the anti-police movement, which was ridiculous. And we've seen how police departments have had to lower their standards to just recruit people.
Yeah, do you like guns?
Yeah.
Here's a uniform.
They're just fat, sloppy, out of shape.
Yeah.
The typical Dunkin' Donut eating, Simpsons caricature of cops. That is now, unfortunately, some of the standard that they have to basically apply because a lot of people aren't trying to be cops and basically they can't recruit anymore. The last thing you need to do is lower your standards for firefighters that everybody loves.
Yeah.
Speaking of UFC, I remember a year ago we were at the UFC. There was a New York NYPD guy that came up to us. Oh, big fan,
Awesome
whatever.
guy, yeah.
And he basically told us a quick story, sort of anecdotal. He's like, dude, it's
horrible.
It's horrible what's happening here. I'm trying to get the hell out of this thing.
Yeah.
And recruitment is at all-time low. They can't sustain people. The last thing we need to do is start dwindling the numbers of the people that protect our communities, the police and the firefighters. So thank you guys for your service.
Well, so you saw the videos. They speak for themselves. We're recapping 2024. We got Joe Biden is the order of the month for the month of January 2024. And we got Fani Willis, order of the month for February of 2024. Now we got Leticia James for the month for March 2024. And I can't wait to see who the final winner of the year, the Jackass of the year for 2024 is. I mean, we got some good contenders already. I mean, it's hard to outdo each other, isn't it? It's awful funny I got 2 black American women in a row for 2 months in a row. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. If they want power, well, and they get drunk with power. Now, I may have to do a separate video on that. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you agree with my assessment that Leticia James deserves Jackass of the Month. Thank you. Always great day to be an American. Go Donald Trump. Long live this constitutional republic. Thank you and have a good day.